Oh, yeah. And loudly.
Well, you're like, I don't know if you're being silly. You like this?
Yeah.
I think,
I know, I
you know what,
just-
maybe the public thinks, what is he doing?
Okay.
I was thinking.
All right. We're
Okay,
going.
I'm gonna rinse left and Keely tonight.
Okay, we are streaming and I'm resuming recording.
Okay, thank you. And we are at this time adjourning the executive session. I'd like to ask for a motion to adjourn the executive session.
Madam Chair, I'd like to make a motion to adjourn an executive session.
Okay, I'd like to ask for a second.
Second.
All right, so do we do a roll call, Madam Clerk, on this one to adjourn?
No.
Okay, so all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? Okay, motion, we have a motion to adjourn executive session. So, Vice Chair Manning, if you could please let us know what was discussed or.
Madam Chair, after listening to the information provided during the executive session, our decision regarding Idaho Code 74-206-1B to consider the evaluation, dismissal, or disciplining of, or to hear complaints or charges brought against a public officer, employee, staff member, individual, agent, or public school student, is information only.
Thank you very much. Okay, and so now our next item on the agenda is the approval of the minutes. So I would like to, and there's two of them, approval of minutes for executive session and regular board meeting December 14, 2020, and then the approval of minutes for a special board meeting December 21st, 2020. Those were added to our agenda, so I hope you've reviewed them. I'd like to ask for a motion right now to approve and accept the minutes.
Madam Chair, I make a motion that we approve and accept the minutes from the previous board meeting.
Okay, thank you. I have a motion. I'd like to ask for a second.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Okay, hearing none, I'd like to ask for a vote. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? Okay, motion is accepted unanimously. So at this time, as the acting chairperson, I'd like to declare the present board organization dissolved, and I'd like to appoint Dr. French as acting chairperson to commence the board reorganization. So, Dr. French?
Thank you, Trustee Pacina and trustees. At this time, I would like to call for nominations for chairperson of the board.
Dr. French, I'd like to nominate Maricela Pacina as chairman of the board, or chairperson of the board, sorry.
Thank you. So we have a nomination for Maricela Pacina. Do we have any other nominations? Hearing none. It's my 7-second wait time. Hearing none. If there, since there are no other nominations, we will close the nominations for chairperson, and I will call for a vote for Maricela Pacina as chairperson of the Caldwell School District Board of Trustees.
Let's, you want to do a roll call?
Sure, you want to do
Okay.
roll call?
Okay, trustee Claudia
Yes.
Swastika,
Yes.
trustee Andrew Butler,
Yes.
trustee Manuel Godina,
Yes.
vice chair Travis Manning.
Yes.
Okay, and Maricela Pacina, do you accept?
Yes, I do. Thank you.
Okay,
With that, the chairman of the board is Maricela Pacina, and with that, I will turn the board meeting back over to Chairman Pacina.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for your faith and in my position as chair. So I thank you, trustees. So at this time, I'd like to call for nomination for vice chairperson.
Madam Chair, I nominate Travis Manning as vice chair.
Okay, thank you, trustee Swastigi. Calling for any other nominations for vice chairperson? Okay, so hearing no other nominations, I'd like to close the nominations and then call for a vote. All right, so, Madam Clerk, could you please do a roll call?
Trustee Claudia Swastiki,
Yes.
trustee Andrew Butler,
Yes.
trustee Manuel Godina,
Yes.
and Madam Chair Pacina,
Yes.
and Travis Manning, do you accept as vice chair?
I do, thank you.
Okay,
Lonnie's gonna be the one.
so now I would like to call for nominations for treasurer. Any nominations for treasurer?
Madam Chair, I nominate Manny Godina as our treasurer.
Okay. Any other nominations for treasurer? Okay, hearing no other nominations for treasurer, I'd like to close the nominations and I'd like to call for a vote. So Madam Clerk, if you'd like to do the roll call?
Trustee Claudia Swastiki,
Yes.
trustee Andrew Butler,
Yes.
vice chair Travis Manning,
Yes.
and Madam Chair Marcel Pacina,
Yes.
and Manuel Godina, do you
Yes.
accept treasurer?
Thank you very much.
Okay. And at this time, I would like to call for nominations for board clerk.
Madam Chair, I nominate Keely Cheney as the board clerk.
Okay. Any other nominations for board clerk?
She's a board clerk for the world.
Hearing no other nominations, I would like to close the nominations and call for a vote. So, Ms. Keeley, would you do the roll call, please?
Trustee Claudia Swastiki,
Yes.
trustee Andrew Butler,
Yes.
trustee Manuel Godina,
Yes.
vice chairman Travis Manning,
Yes.
and Madam Chair Marcela Pacina.
Yes. So, Ms. Keeley, would you like to accept the position of
I
board-
would, and I thank you, appreciate that.
Yay, thank you. All right, so now we know Ms. Keeley is our new board clerk. We wish her well in her new endeavor. Okay, so the next item on our annual meeting is to set the time, date, and place for meetings. And trustees, these times should have been in your board packet. And in the past, we have kept it as the second Monday of every month as our monthly meeting. So we are going to continue that. And so we do have in our board packet, if anybody that is out in YouTube land wants to check this out, it's in our board docs. And so it is the second Monday of every month. And then the times will be 7 p.m. And they take place at the Caldwell School District, which is 1502 Fillmore Street, Caldwell, Idaho 3605. We are in the Vernon D. Mark boardroom. And, according to what our COVID restrictions are, we will be holding them here and then we will be following the guidelines that are given to us to keep us safe. So if we're hoping and wishing for the date that we can open our boardroom and have everybody in here. So hopefully that'll be someday soon. If not, please join us on our virtual meetings. And so at this moment, we are restricted to 10 or less. So just so everybody knows that at this time. And then, let's see. We have establish agenda notice posting locations, including those provided by law. And so just so everybody knows, the posting locations are at the district office and on the district website. So those should be, if Anybody needs to know that, that's where, and at the beginning of every meeting, we do ask our board clerk where those agendas have been posted. So that's where you can look for our agenda postings and our notice postings. And then,
Madam Chair,
yes,
on the board workshops, are we talking about that now or later?
I think we do have we could talk about it now. We do have the schedule for our workshops, and those are to take place. Typically, it's we have our monthly meetings on the second Monday of the month, and usually typically it's the fourth Monday of the month that we'd have our board work sessions, and it's usually Monday at 6 p.m. However, sometimes we do have some days that are, for whatever reason, it might be a holiday or that those are subject to change. But we will make sure that those get announced and posted. But it is, the schedule is also in the board doc, so if anyone wants to look at it and check it out, they can look at those. And if we do change it, we will let the public know in advance. And those are the ones that are our work sessions, our board work sessions.
So I noticed the November and December ones, I think, are during
Yes.
Thanksgiving and Christmas.
Mhm.
And so I guess, if there's an emergency, we have to have a work session, maybe we do. So the staff can go on vacation, maybe we would try and work around that. So just to point that out, and we've got plenty of time months ahead.
Yes, and that's a good idea, yeah. So that we will, those could be subject to change, but we will cross that bridge when we get there. Okay, does that sound? Okay, all right, so let's see, establishing signatories unless already indicated in district policy. So, Madam Clerk, on those, I think that we already have my signature. I believe that we already have my signature.
Yes.
So we would need to add the new treasurer signature.
Yes.
So if we could have the district office contact Trustee Godina to make sure he fills out all the necessary paperwork and what he needs to do for his new assignment as treasurer. Okay?
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank
For that.
you. And now, I believe the last thing that we have for our annual meeting is trustees, you should have received a copy of the code of ethics in your board docs, and then I believe our board clerk put some out on your table before the meeting. And so I'd like to read these code of ethics for the Caldwell School District board members. It's just a reminder for those of you for all of us, a reminder of what our ethics are. So, and then at the end, you will have to sign them and turn them into the board clerk, Ms. Cheney. So, Section 1, Code of Ethics for Caldwell School Board Members. And this is also located in the policy manual, and it's code 1600. So as a board member of my local board of trustees, I will strive to improve public education, and to that end, I will, number 1, attend all regularly scheduled Caldwell School District board meetings insofar as possible, having read my packet, ensuring that I am informed about the issues to be considered at the meeting. Number 2, recognize that the board must comply with the open meeting law and only has authority to make decisions at official board meetings. Number 3, make all decisions based on the available facts and my independent judgment, and refuse to surrender that judgment to individuals or special interest groups. Number 4, understand that the board makes decisions as a team. Individual board members may not commit the board to any action unless so authorized by official board action. Number 5, recognize that decisions are made by a majority vote and the outcome should be supported by all board members. Number 6, acknowledge that policy decisions are a primary function of the board and should be made after full discussion at publicly held board meetings, recognizing that authority to administer policy rests with the superintendent. Number 7, be open, fair, and honest, have no hidden agendas, and respect the right of other board members to have opinions and ideas which differ from mine. Number 8, Recognize that the superintendent is the board's advisor and should be present at all meetings, except when the board is considering the superintendent's evaluation, contract, or salary. Number 9, understand the chain of command and refer problems or complaints to the proper administrative office while refraining from communications that may create conditions of bias should a district concern ever rise to the attention of the board as a hearings panel. Number 10, keep abreast of important developments in educational trends, research, and practices by individual study and through participation in programs providing such information. Number 11, respect the right of the public to be informed about district decisions and school operations. Number 12, understand that I will receive information that is confidential and cannot be shared. Number 13, give staff that respect and consideration due skilled professional employees and support the employment of those best qualified to serve as district staff while insisting on regular and impartial evaluation of all staff. Number 14, present personal criticism of district operations to the superintendent, not to district staff or at a board meeting. Number 15, refuse to use my board position for personal or family gain or prestige. I will announce any conflicts of interest before board action is taken. And number 16, remember always that my first and greatest concern must be the educational welfare of the students attending the public schools. All right, so that is our code of ethics. And if you could please sign and date, and then Ms. Keeley will pick these up after our board meeting is over. And today is the 11th. So, thank you. All right, so now, let's see, at this moment, call to order. So I'll call this meeting to order. And then now we have our information items and reports. So Dr. French, please.
Yes, Madam Chair and trustees, thank you. Just a report, I do want to recognize the board. This month is Board Appreciation Month. We have a small token of our appreciation for you. This book, The Gifts of Imperfection, we are reading this as an administrative team. So all of the principals, assistant principals, unit students, we're all reading this together. And we'd love to involve you, or at least have you read along with this. I think you'll find the book enlightening. It's a good read. So I want to say thank you, and thank you to the board for your service. I think every month should be Board Appreciation Month. So we appreciate all that you've been doing. We spoke earlier, that's almost been a year since COVID affected all that we're doing, and appreciate your diligence in serving the students of Caldwell. With that being said, we have a student this evening that this is quite a feat. Samantha is here, her counselor Scott Nelson is here. I would like Scott, we'll turn some time to Scott. Samantha attends Caldwell High School. I've never personally met a student that has achieved what she has achieved. So we're like, we have to see her. And we invited her to be here this evening. So Mr. Nelson, if you would take the time to introduce Samantha to us, and then have Samantha introduce her parents,
Yes.
that'd be great.
Great. So I just want to introduce you to Samantha Lupiani. And Samantha, tell us, introduce your parents if you would.
This is my dad, Jordan Lupiani, and then this is my mom, Gigi Anderson.
She
Yeah.
kept her maiden name for obvious reasons.
I read that one down.
Do you?
Yes,
would
if
you
you
like-
would, sure.
Okay, well,
Sorry, trustees. So Mr. Nelson works with Advanced Opportunity, does a lot of work with the Go On and dual credit, college credit, and working with students to just excel. Expand their potential, just access some, classes to help them go on to college. And so he's probably the best to introduce and share what Samantha has done. It is quite a feat, so.
maybe I could just say that I have the best job in the school district. I truly believe that. I relish the opportunity to predominantly work with motivated students who are wanting to move forward. So, can you all hear me okay with my mask?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes.
Advanced Opportunities is the state of Idaho program that provides Caldwell students with the chance to earn high school overload credits, which are credits in addition to successfully participating in full-time high school schedule. And it allows them to take high school classes for college credit. We call it dual credit. In addition to this, the program pays for our students to take advanced placement and college level equivalency program tests, AP and CLEP tests, so they can earn college credit, and the test for career technical CTE certifications. Last year, the state added the ability to pay for workforce development programs. And last year we had our first student trained in the phlebotomy program at CWI with state funding. In the 4 years since the district has employed me as a full-time college and career counselor, and now with a full-time college career advisor, the Caldwell School District has not had a single student even approach the $4,125 allowance of fast forward funds that's provided for by Advanced Opportunities until now. This semester, in the midst of a COVID-induced educational fog, Samantha has emerged as a bright star in Caldwell. We're proud to announce, and this is the bad news, that she will have to pay $23 for her last dual credit class because she has gone over budget.
Wow.
Samantha sped through an entire year of Math 1 in our first Advanced Opportunity Summer School in 2 months in the year after her 8th grade. I can only assume that meant that she wasn't selected as an advanced student while she was in 8th grade.
Somebody told her she couldn't do it.
Somebody told her she couldn't do it. And then we presented an opportunity, and guess what? She could.
She excelled.
This allowed her to now, when she was a junior, to enroll in dual credit pre-calculus for 5 college credits. And at present, she is in our college sophomore level class, Math 254 AP Statistics. Samantha has earned 9 high school overload credits, primarily through our summer school, but also of note, she was able to pay for her Caldwell driver's education course through Fast Forward funds. She's taken 2 AP exams and 8 dual credit classes from our partner colleges, Boise State, CWI, and NNU. I added up all the college credits from college and AP exams, 35 credits. That's well over 1 year of college. Her first course, her final course, the one that put her over the top, is taught through our new Caldwell Online Academy, led by our CHS Dean of Students, Karen Cameron. We're partnering with IDLA, Idaho Digital Learning Academy, to increase options for our district students. One final point of interest, and Samantha, you missed out on this one. This semester, we're reaching out. We've reached out to Caldwell's Treasure Valley Community College, and we have 6 seniors taking 8 academic classes on campus. This would never have been possible without the efforts of Samantha's senior counselor, Leah Morono, and our new but experienced college career advisor, Jesse Stockdale. So finally, much thanks goes to our Caldwell School Board for your support of our college and career programming. Our superintendent and principal provide 100% of the vision that leads us to empower the whole child to achieve personal goals and strengthen our communities. Thank you very much.
Wow.
Trustee, Principal Anita Wilson is online. She just wanted to congratulate Samantha. If we
Okay.
give her a moment.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Great. I do want to congratulate Samantha. She has done an incredible job, and she is also just an amazingly beautiful person on the inside. I just want to say that she is just a lovely young lady, and as well as being academically gifted. And I also want to reiterate what Scott said. Thank you to our trustees, Madam Chair Pacina and the rest of the Board of Trustees for allowing us the opportunities to be able to provide the opportunities for our students through summer school and through the Advanced Opportunities Summer School and through some of these other partnerships with the local universities and colleges, and especially this new opportunity we have with Treasure Valley Community College, where students are able to go on campus and experience college while they're still in high school while using their advanced opportunity money. So thank you for that opportunity and congratulations, Samantha.
I say one other thing, and that is that Samantha is just an example of the incredible clientele that we deal with at Caldwell High School. I mean, she's one of many that stand out amongst her peers, and I want to congratulate her. I just learned that the letter that I wrote to College of Idaho had some benefit. From Caldwell High School, she's headed down the street and across the world to College of Idaho with a fantastic scholarship. So we want to congratulate her for that.
Wow. Well, I just, I'm part of the trustees and Samantha and Mr. Nelson. So understanding these dual credit classes aren't $300 classes. You have, when you think of $4,125, she's been able to take multiple classes because they do cost less because she's in high school. And now think how far ahead she is. Her parents are probably very grateful that they do not have to pay for a lot of college courses that she has already completed, which is a benefit. And it's available to every student in the Caldwell School District, grades 7 through 12. And that Advanced Opportunity Summer School is available to them. And we are going to have to take a picture and say, be like Samantha. But thank you so much for coming. It's nice to see so many students. Oh, such a thrill.
So I'd like to say, first of all, thank you, Mr. Nelson, for the job that you do, because you're able to inform our students about their career opportunities. So thank you for what you do. And Samantha, wow, LaPiani, your determination is impressive. First of all, I'm really excited because you're one of our first students that has actually been in this room since we've been in a closet. And so I'm like, yay, it's kind of like, being in a far off planet, I'm thinking like the Martian movie that, okay, somebody new is here. So thank you for being here. And just so everybody knows, we were doing the limit of how many people can be in our room. And so thank you for bringing your parents too. And Mom and Dad, you have done an amazing job with her and, you know, shown her how to use her monies. And that's one of the biggest things that it's out there. And a lot of kids don't realize that money's out there. And what a great jump it's going to give you for your career and your higher education. And so we're so proud of you for taking the opportunity and for taking advantage of this opportunity and, you know, showing your classmates this is what you can do. Now, you are a junior, correct?
I'm a senior.
You're a senior, okay. So I was gonna say, wow, what are you gonna do with your senior money? All right, and I was like, let's do a GoFundMe. Here, you know,
$23.
but yeah, good for you. We're so impressed and so happy for you, and I'm glad that your story will hopefully inspire more kids knowing what we've got money out there, and so hopefully they'll, you know, if we have 7th graders, 6th graders, 7th graders out there that can hear your story and take advantage of it because it's out there for them. And so thank you. I appreciate your hard work and diligence and doing what you do instead of, you know, just, no, I'm not gonna go to school because what for, you know? So thank you for that. Trustees, any comments for Ms. Samantha?
So what was your, I know that sometimes college can be a little intimidating, especially when you're in high school because you're not certain. So the opportunity that you had to take a college level course in high school, I mean, how did you get, what did you say to your friends about that?
Well, I don't know. I just took like, I think Spanish was like 2 of the most, or I took Spanish 1, 2, and 3, even though it was 6, but I still take like those. I think they were like the most beneficial, and that was like my first like, it felt like my first real dual credit class, and it felt like a college class. But I don't know. Most of my friends are like in the same boat. So.
She's worked with a lot of athletes that have done the same thing as she has done as well. The senior class has some really outstanding athletes that are also outstanding academic kids, and I know you can attest to that one too. I think that's part of it for them. They all feel like that's just what you do.
Mr. Nelson, Madam Chair, Mr. Nelson, how does one student find out about the opportunities that you offer?
Right. Well, we start in the middle schools by promoting the opportunity for the Advanced Opportunity Summer School. I mean, this is Ms. Wilson's vision, and from, you know, along with Dr. French, and from the start, they wanted to have classes that would be accessible. I mean, a kid between their 7th grade and 8th grader isn't going to get into economics, a high school senior level high school overload class, but we could start them on computer applications or health classes that are 1 semester classes in 9th grade, that if they get rid of that, if they take that class in the summer, then they can take, you know, maybe a more academic or career oriented full year class. So that's just the start. And then we, you know, in a normal year, I go in and talk to all the freshmen, and then later in the year to all, in October, to all the sophomores before they take the PSAT exam. And, you know, it's just, we're just trying to build a culture of information so kids know. And even through driver's ed, you know, which we're very fortunate to be able to offer that because we had a practice beforehand of giving a credit. And so it qualified for this overload. And, you know, some of the students, they haven't successfully completed a year, and I have the opportunity, you know, and break some bad news, but I talk to the students or the parents about what it takes. And, you know, it's like the carrot is there. You can get your driver's ed paid for. We just use every opportunity we can to promote the you know, what the state's doing. And,
Yes,
you know, I just get to pass out the money. And it wouldn't happen without the teachers who get the professional, you know, the master's levels degrees in their area so that they're qualified to teach. They have to have years of experience and education to be qualified. So that they're the ones that, the teachers are the ones that make it happen, and I just facilitate the promotion and funding.
So, Mr. Nelson, do you have to be, does a student need to be invited to do this, or is it just for every student out there?
They're, for the Advanced Opportunity Summer School, we do have a grade level requirement. I think they have to have at least a 2.5. To be able to use their funds for driver's ed, they just have to pass 6 out of 7 classes for a year. Because that's a starting level, but it is a program designed for students that want advanced opportunities. So they have to want to be in a class that's going to be more rigorous or more challenging in order to take it. And there's also a warning that goes out to every student that this, you know, you're in high school, but you're starting to develop a college transcript. I mean, Samantha has a college transcript from NNU, BSU, and CWY that she's going to have to send to College of Idaho, as well as send her AP score, which earned her credit to there. So I mean, there. So it becomes a self-filtering program in terms of the dual credits, whether they want to do it. Some kids choose, I don't want to take that risk with getting a college grade in this class. And basically we tell them, don't take it if you're not going to get a C, and you can never plan on a C unless you're going to shoot for an A or a B. You know what I mean?
Trustee Godina and Madam Chair, Anita is on that line as well, and she's happy to answer any questions you have in general, because I know she does some outreach to parents.
Madam Chair, trustees, thanks. I'm sorry I'm not there in person where I can just jump in. I think that what Scott says is exactly right. I think that I'll just answer in general or speak to that in general, which is that I don't know what the statistic is, but I know that Caldwell High School has been one of the highest utilization of the fast forward money, the money that the state gives the students that Scott's talking about, that Samantha's utilized. Caldwell High School utilizes that at a high level per student. And I think that it's a part of the culture of Caldwell High School. With the summer school program, that really built a lot of momentum, and we have hundreds of students earning hundreds of credits every year. And then we have just, I don't want to say tripled, but because I don't have the data right in front of me, but exponentially we've increased the number of dual credit offerings at our school. And we have a goal, which is a part of the Board of Trustees goals every year, to increase the number of students who are in dual credit and AP classes, and increase the number of offerings of AP and dual credit classes. So that's a focus for us as the adults in the building. And it's a focus for us as we promote pre-registration, which we're coming up on, where students can choose their classes. We're already working on additional dual credit classes that we can offer students, additional ways that students can get overload credits. And then very soon we'll be promoting Advanced Opportunity Summer School. And well, maybe it was last year, I'm not sure. It's been a couple of years in a row now. This last year is kind of a blur, but it's been a couple of years in a row where we have hundreds of people in the auditorium who the parents and students are just hungry, looking for this type of opportunity. So it's probably the only parent meeting where you'll have hundreds of people in attendance, but they want this type of opportunity for the students, just like Samantha's had. And so we're happy to provide that. And I'm happy to say that it is part of the Board of Trustees goals as part of your improvement plan. So that's how we're able to fulfill that part of our mission.
And Madam Chair and Trustee, so Trustee Godina, those of you who have children coming into middle school or going up into high school, there's information coming out to watch for that, you know, and so that it really does take the parent to help the student to catch it, the spirit of it. And once the parents understand, and I think that's why I needed this, the outreach with parent meetings, is if you understand this, it helps you help your children understand, you know what, you can take that biology class and you can take it in the dual credit. I believe that you can. You have to, you know, encourage them so that they, otherwise they may choose not to because maybe they don't have that confidence, and yet we all know that we know that they're capable. When you have the parents know and understand that, it really does help. So watch for that information, because I believe you have a daughter that
I
can
do.
possibly access that. And then we have trustees who have children coming up that too.
Thank you very much. Awesome job.
Yep, thank you, congratulations.
Thank you very much. Thank you for taking the time.
We'll do high five.
Yes. I'll get a picture later, okay?
Okay.
Photocrop it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good evening.
Nice job.
Anita was here.
We're gonna let's get a picture, let me get a picture of the family.
Yes.
Yeah.
With you guys in the background.
Oh, yeah, if you're back there. If you're off on this side, you'll come on. You want to get there, and I'll get a picture. This will be our, you ready? 1, 2. That was cute. You got it. Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Nice job. Good night.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
We look forward to having.
Yes.
people again.
Yes.
Lots of people.
Thanks,
Bye.
everyone.
Good night.
Okay, yeah, that was great. Alrighty, so our next item is patron input. Madam Clerk, do we have no patron input? Okay, thank you. So just so our audience know, patrons who wish to have input at this meeting must have submitted their email to the clerk by the date of the meeting. That would be today at 12 p.m. And written comments must include your name, address, and telephone number. So for future reference, for patron input. And then the next item on our agenda is the consent agenda. So I'd like to ask for a motion to approve. Well, we can approve all of the following items by single vote unless we have a member of the board, a board member that would like to take an item and have it removed from the consent agenda and have it considered and discussed separately. So if you,
Chair, I'd like to pull on B.
okay, so we have a request to pull out item B, and we will put it on our, remove it from our consent agenda and put it where we have our hold agendas. Okay, so then any other items that need to be pulled? No? All right, I'd like to ask for a motion to approve the following items, except for item B.
Madam Chair, I make a motion that we approve the items in the consent agenda except for item B.
Okay, I have a motion. I'll just for a second.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Okay, hearing none, I'll ask for a vote. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Okay, any opposed, nay? Okay, the ayes have it. It's a unanimous vote, so, all right. We will discuss that item later on in our meeting. So now we're off to the regular agenda. So the first agenda item that we have under there is a district continuing school operation plan for 2020-2021 school year. Okay, Dr. French.
Madam Chair and trustees, this has been on every time we meet. You will see that has been updated as per the December meeting. It reflects the changes that were requested and made in that meeting. You'll also notice that it no longer says district reopening and continuing operation. We are open. We're continuing operation. So some things have been updated to reflect what we're doing now currently. So those are some changes there. Also, I added some of the school plans that have been updated to reflect the changes in the district plan. You'll see those. I have asked the school teams, their school leadership teams to update their plans to reflect the board plan and have those by February meeting. We just had a few that were, that had met with their teams last week. And so you'll see a few of those plans that will update and reflect the changes that were made in our plan. In addition, we did update the middle school sports. So in the other plan, middle school sports could not take place if there was substantial spread in the community. It does now reflect that if we are in a hybrid or in person, middle school sports could take place. And if you remember when we met in December, we talked about the fact that the middle school sports season had been delayed a couple weeks in January so that they would start later in hopes that less community spread and more schools in session. So that's been updated. And you'll also see some of the determinations that we received from Southwest District Health. I did meet, again, every Thursday we meet with the liaison from Southwest District Health. Updates are that they needed numbers from us as to staffing numbers so that they can prepare for the vaccine. So they anticipate the vaccine coming in February for teachers. So teachers are a tier 2 category group. Our health aides and nurse would be a tier 1, so they may be receiving the vaccine sooner. You as trustees are considered part of that group. So you are also eligible for that vaccine at an earlier date than the general public. The Caldwell Transportation is also considered part of that group. So we've reached out to them to let them know that those vaccines should start sometime in February. They do anticipate they'll go into March because they're only receiving so many at a time. Our HR director, Patty Wade, will be reaching out to employees. We really need to know, Southwest would really like to know, and so would we. If you would like the vaccine, we need to make sure that that's a priority list. If you are not, if they're not interested in it, Southwest needs to know what to do with those vaccines. Right now, we're anticipating close to 700 vaccinations for staff, CTC, trustees, administrators. So they're anticipating having that available for us, but they're working with every district. So we were glad to hear that. There is concern that people did not report as much over the holidays, and that they're concerned that they'll see it increase this week. So those determination reports, you'll look on the days they're older. There's nothing up through last week. Everything is the week prior to that. I want to say like the 1st, 4th. So we'll keep you updated on what is happening in the community. I am excited that the vaccine will be, that they are reaching out to us and planning that.
Is it optional for everybody?
Yes. Yes. I don't know how you say, well, in order to work here, you have to have that vaccine. We've never done that. It would be kind of, but also knowing that with that vaccine, it does present a new opportunity for us going into the next few months, right? So, and there are some people that are very concerned about it. Southwest reported that of the healthcare workers in long-term facilities, they've only had about 60% accept the vaccine. So there's about a 40% group that are still concerned about vaccine, and Southwest is doing their best to make sure people feel confident in that vaccine.
Is there like a time frame when it's expected that if you're offered this vaccine, you take advantage of the opportunity? Because then they'll go the next year.
Yeah, they will go, and I don't know it. Yes, you're correct. So we'll be, as we're working with them, I'm sure that they'll have targeted dates because there's just so many districts to serve right now, and so they'll have these dates, and then they need to move on to the general public. So,
Madam Chair and Dr. French, you say 700 vaccines.
That's a rough estimate, which will CTC.
And out of how many in this district?
Oh, that would be our
That's a whole
that would be our total.
Okay.
With CTC. And I might be a little bit short. I'll have to double check, but right now the estimate's around 700.
Okay.
Yes.
And they said February,
March.
By February.
Okay.
So I'm hoping
That's early
by,
April.
I'm gonna shoot for, I will just visit with Kimberly. I appreciate what she's doing. I'm gonna, it won't be the 1st of February.
Okay.
I heard that, but it, I'm hoping by 2nd week, 3rd week, but it would go into March. So they feel like it would take that much of time to, and she's speaking about our area. So, I don't know how long it would take to vaccinate all the people who want it for Caldwell. So
Yeah, I mean,
she's on a global kind of view of that.
we're protecting our teachers a lot and hopefully they'll take advantage of it. If they
Well,
they
I've
feel
had
safe,
emails from a teacher, and I totally appreciate, like, so when's this coming out?
Yeah.
Do I get priority because I'm, of the age? And I'm also, I work in this,
Certain
I
age.
work in this program, so, so we've talked about, there are certain groups of teachers that work in a program that might be more, there's less opportunity for physical distancing. So we may have to, like, do we prioritize that person who's over, the teacher who's over 55, 60? We prioritize those that are, do they get, like, it's coming out? So today there are 30 vaccines. Okay. Well, we're thinking about, what would that look like? But we need to know if you're interested in the vaccine. So Patty Ray will work on that. Patty did come in today to report, as of just in last week, we had 26, so like on Friday, there were 26 people out with COVID-related illness. As of today, of those 26, 13 were confirmed positive, and the other 13 are waiting to hear. And it's just like, that was probably the biggest day on Friday that we have had of reported incidents. It's like, oh my goodness. And I think part of that is the holiday. So appreciate the time to get these people, back. And I'm not sure about students. Cynthia Cross is monitoring that, but where there's some of them are at home, that may not be reported because they're still able to be online. So anyway, that was an update. Do you have questions for me about the plan? All the changes you'll find in the addendum in the back, so you know what pages were changed.
So Dr. French, so is the district still on January 19th? Is it still your recommendation? The district go ahead with the hybrid model?
Yes, I'm sorry, Madam Chair, Vice Chair Manning, yes, we were prepared for the hybrid model on the 19th. I think, people have had time to think about it. We had the survey before we left for the break. Teachers, there's that, they're in that 50-50, really need them back. I think we can make this work. We need to be safe. So we visited with administrators this last week. They feel like you'll see, and there's some of their plans and the plans you see, and others that are working on tightening up some protocols, reviewing them. What can we do differently? Visiting, I sent an email to CTC to let them know that we'd be providing that masks on the bus, which we haven't done before, so that a student, when they board the bus, if they don't have a mask, they'll be given a mask so that they're not traveling on the bus or arriving at school without a mask. And schools are looking at their own protocols of entrance and exits, what's happening in the lunches. I know I had a meeting with Ms. Wilson about just even the lunches at Caldwell High, and so they're looking at ways to provide more physical distancing for students when they're in the building, when they're at lunchtime. So there's some things that they're tightening up as well. I believe we'll be ready, and I just hope the community will work to help us stay in school and not have to be. So, is that what you wanted me to?
Yeah, no, that's great. I appreciate that. It's it's a tough situation because we, kids. I hear from I've heard over the months from dozens of parents who are concerned about the kids, at home not learning well, and I also get sort of mixed messages from different staff about, hey, it's we need to be cautious. And there's also staff that are concerned about their, the emotional health of their students and the academic health of their students. And so I think this is going to be with us for a long time. I mean, this is January 11th. 2021. And if I recall, I think we started this March 16th, 2020.
did.
So we're about 10 months in. And the vaccines, it's a slow rollout for various reasons, but it's a slow rollout. And it's going to take months probably for people to get vaccinated. So there's some time involved here. And so meanwhile, your kids are continuing to be isolated, and it's a very challenging thing for our community. So, if the community can do whatever they can to help keep us safe, slow community spread, that's going to allow our kids to go back to school. So we cannot ignore the science of that. And I know that's unfortunately has turned into a political football, but we do know that wearing masks and the science helps protect people, and that will allow our kids a better chance of being able to attend school hybrid, and at some point in the future, we don't know when, to have all of our kids at school full time, which is our end goal, of course.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Vice Chairman.
And Madam Chair and Trustees, so even with the vaccine, we will still require masks. We've already been informed that even if a person has received that vaccination or whatever, the vaccine, you still need to wear the mask. And there are two shots. So it may be you get that first one and it's going to be maybe a little delay before you can get the second one. So I did ask about students receiving the vaccine, and they did not have an answer for me last Thursday, but they were looking into when will it be rolled out to the students who are in the school. And anyway, so that's where we're at. And yes, we are anticipate we're planning. We'll follow up on our protocols, make sure that we're adhering to what we said we would be doing, so that kids can be back. They really, it's just like having some napkin. That is so refreshing. Even with masks on, it's like, thank you. And so, yeah, and I'll give you the plans as they come in, as the schools update them, and you will see some changes,
So, Dr. French, I had a question, just to reiterate for those that are watching, the hybrid model is the elementary kids.
Our AM, PM pod. So you have the AM and the PM, and they come every day, except Wednesdays has been digital day.
Okay.
So we see our elementary 4 days a week.
Every week, okay.
And then middle school and secondary schools, the high school, middle school, I should say that. Caldwell High School and middle schools are an AB day, with the Wednesday being a digital day.
Okay.
Canyon Springs is in session with their students.
Okay.
That's what they're planning on, is to be in session with their students.
Okay. And we're doing that because they have the space to have the physical distancing.
Right, and they have their attendance, with the anticipation being 200 students coming, they have 100 students coming, and they're still, that's a rough estimate. But they are still working on inviting the other students to come back. But right now, they can manage that with the physical distancing. So they're in session every day with their high school students.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes.
So Dr. French, I know maybe not everyone who's listening tonight has listened to all of our board meetings in recent months. I'm wondering if you could talk about how we do have students that are in our schools. So even though we're in the online model, there still are a number of kids that are currently attending Caldwell schools for various different reasons. So we're doing what we can to get kids into our schools.
Yes, Madam Chair and Vice Chairman Manning, that is correct statement. So all along the way, we've looked at individual students, individual programs and plans, and if they were better served, if we knew that we could provide a better serve them at the school level. This has been many of our special education students who receive special services, special support. It's we can serve them at the school more effectively. They've been coming to school. Other students, there may be students who are second language learners or an English learner. If there's a concern there, the school leadership teams have gone through a process of identifying students that would be better served in person than in a remote due to maybe a challenge or a barrier that student might be facing. Other students, the high school, a couple of high school invited students back last week to get to, to reintroduce them to their new semester teacher. So there have been
Other CTE and music students. have been
yes, that is correct. So thank you. And the CTE students who are in the program, or music students who are in the program, they've been allowed to come back and work on those programs. And then there have been middle school students who've been allowed to come in who may have struggled with connecting internet-wise. There have been a few of those students who they've identified that have very poor or no connections at home. And so yes, there have been students in the building working either in special education services, English learner services. There might be students who have had connectivity issues and work with the building administration to connect, have a better connection. Does that help?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. But in all reality, we're really looking forward to Tuesday. And I'm sure you are too.
Yes.
I would also say, so in the food program, we have been taking buses out to neighborhoods. So the lunch program has continued. And in order to reach more students, we've had a bus go out to neighborhoods to help deliver lunches to students. That's something students have not necessarily had to come to the school to get.
And are they taking advantage of it?
Not like we would hope. Is that, yeah, some neighborhoods, yes, some no. So they're still providing. Any other questions on
That's good, thank you.
Trustees, any other questions?
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. French.
Okay, so that takes care of our continuing school operation plan. So now the strategic plan, Dr. French.
Thank you, Madam Chair and trustees. So this evening, well, Robert was with us.
There he is.
Oh, there he is. Thank you. So in your, Caleb, in the board docs, there's a attachment called Getting Started Caldwell School District. It's a PowerPoint presentation. I'm wondering if you could show that so it's visible for the patrons to see. And Dr. Sanchez, if you would like to lead us through that once we get started here. So we met last week and Dr. Sanchez had put together a timeline that we had talked about before in December when we first met.
B.
Under B. Yeah. Getting started.
Which one did you say?
Getting started. And so he's put together, he had put together the timeline and then put together this PowerPoint. It's only a few slides, just to give you an idea. We have talked about the importance of our core committee, the importance of a board member or two being on that committee. So that's where we were on Friday. So I hope there is. Okay, Dr. Sanchez, welcome.
Thank you, Dr. French. And good evening, Madam Chair and trustees. Happy New Year. What I'm going to attempt to do here in the next several minutes is just walk you through just 3 to 4 quick slides on the process of getting started for the school year 2021-22 strategic plan. Next slide, please. So I'd like to begin the question, and this is really to inform those community members and stakeholders that have joined via YouTube, but with the question of why do we need a strategic plan? Well, many may know this, but maybe they don't, that there is a statutory requirement in the state of Idaho. It's Idaho Code 33320 that requires every school district to submit an advising plan, which is the college and career advising plan, the literacy intervention plan, and the continuous improvement plan. But if we just pause for a second and we look at strategic planning and we ask ourselves, how do we define strategy? Well, if we define strategy as the way that we think and plan, it has a heavy impact over our systems in the district, all K through 12, in the way that we connect with students, the way we connect with parents, the way we connect with our staff, and also the processes, the way that we operate, but perhaps most important, the way that we lead people. How all this comes together to focus right there in the center where student success resides is so critically important. And that's why we need a strategic plan. And that's why a strategic plan can be such a powerful tool. Next slide, please. There's lots of frameworks and approaches for strategic planning. We're going to use, or I recommend, a 5-phased approach that takes the strategic planning process and breaks it down into bite-sized chunks. Now, the advantages of this approach, here's the 2 critical takeaways. It's collaborative and it maximizes stakeholder input. So that gives us shared ownership throughout the process and also buy-in when the strategic plan is completed. Next slide. So when we take that framework, those 5 phases, and we break it out over the course of time, right now we're in this preparation phase, and we're about to begin phase 1 in February, and then go all the way through until September when we implement the plan. The book that we're using has a resource to guide our efforts, is the Strategic Planning as Simple as ABCs by David McLean, and I think some of you have had an opportunity to dive into that book. What I want to draw to your attention on this diagram, though, is at the bottom where you see phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, phase 4, and phase 5. So that corresponds to each of the beginning chapters in the book. So phase 1 is chapter 1, phase 2 is chapter 2, phase 3 is chapter 3, and phase 4, chapter 4, phase 5, chapter 5. So as you read through that book and follow us in the strategic planning journey, you kind of can get an insight on how we're applying some of the best practices and lessons learned in the strategic planning process. So if A is where we are now, you can see that we're about to begin a deep dive into the data, into strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. And then that's going to inform this discussion of, where do we want to go? Where do we aspire to be? And then last but not least is that heavy lift is how we're going to get there. So that gives you an idea of how I recommend to break that process into multiple phases spread out over time. Now, here's the beauty in this. It's not time driven. The only hard step that we really have is that, the district has to submit a continuous improvement plan to the state by 1 October. Everything else is event driven, which means that if we experience a lot of success early in phase 1, and we do that early in February, we don't have to wait until March. You can shift to phase 2. And the flip side of the coin is true, though. If we're experiencing some challenges and maybe some log jams or some other barriers, we can stretch phase 2 into March if needed, and phase 2 can move into April if needed. So we have maximum flexibility with this recommended approach and framework. Next slide, please. So as we're getting started, your guidance and direction is so important as we finalize our planning and finalize our preparation to begin the planning phase that will kick off in February. Part of this upfront work is going to be forming the team. And right now we're in very close discussions, if you will, in collaboration with 3 organizations. One is the organization where I serve as the vice president, and that's Idaho Business of Education. The second one is the Idaho Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, and the third one is the United Way, and how we can bring additional subject matter expertise into the planning process. The other call to action, if you will be to the members of the trustees in answering that call to be a part of this process, because that your participation and ownership and guidance and direction is going to be so critically important throughout this entire process. And then last but not least is the stakeholder external to the school, the parents, how they come together to provide input with students and members of the staff is going to be so critically important in informing that first part, where are we now, then next, where do we want to go? Then ultimately, how are we going to get there? And so the last bullet is initiate planning. That will begin on or about February. But receiving your guidance and direction tonight is so critically important. So thank you for the opportunity to kind of quickly walk you through the getting started piece. I'll pause there for any questions or comments.
Okay, Mr. Sanchez? Yes, this is Maricela Pacina, the chair. One of my questions was, what is the time commitment? Kind of where we want to.
Yeah, Madam Chair, excellent question. So we see the time commitment really centered around monthly meetings, no more than about 60 to 90 minutes. Maybe for some of the strategic pillar groups, that might be up to 2 hours, but I don't think that it's any more than about 2 hours a month.
Okay, and then we're thinking about wrapping it up. Well, I mean, I'm sure it could go on, you know, depending on how far we want to go with this, but our plan is to, how will you measure success? And then that would go on into August of 2022. Is that what, is that the time commitment that you start?
It's
February 21?
Thank you, Madam. Thank you, Madam Chair. Excellent question. And let me take a moment to address that. The plan that would be submitted to the board for approval and then ultimately to the state, that would be no later than the end of September to meet the 1 October deadline. The reality is that will probably be much earlier, but for planning purposes, we're accounting for the full time that is available. Now, to your question or comment about measuring success. In strategic planning process, you know, the continuous improvement plan that we have now, we're always in some season of assessment because we're always measuring our progress in the plan so that you can make course corrections in a timely manner. And so what I was referring to there is, you know, as soon as we implement that plan in September for the new school year, we immediately begin a process of assessment, you know, to measure our progress in that plan so that to the extent that we can make timely course corrections.
Okay, thank you. That answers my question. So at this time, I know that I have addressed Trustee Andrew Butler, and he's willing to be part on the strategic team. And we're excited because he read the whole book. He knows it inside out. So we're thinking, yay, we got a leader here. And then, so I don't know. I just want to put this out there. You know, a lot of people that are on committees and boards and different things, the reason that they're on committees and boards is because they're busy people and they get things done. So we have a lot of our members are really, really busy with other boards and other committees. So that's kind of the reason why I asked what the time commitment would be. So I may have another board member that might want to jump in, but we want to just make sure that, you know, the time allows. And so I just like to, how soon would you need to know about the other board member, or are you okay with one trustee?
Excellent question. I would welcome as much participation from the board as we can get. One trustee at the tip of the spear is awesome as well. Your question about when I would need to know, I think we would want to finalize the forming the team so we can leave the preparation phase and move into the planning phase in early February.
Okay. So maybe a couple weeks. Could you give us a couple weeks just to recruit another trustee?
Madam Chair, I think a couple of weeks is perfect.
Okay. All right. So sounds good. So what else do you need from us, Mr. Sanchez, to get started other than, you know, forming the team?
Madam Chair, what would be very helpful for me is to just get a thumbs up from from Dr. French and the trustees on the framework, the process, and the timeline.
Okay. So trustees, do you have any comments, any questions for Mr. Sanchez? I know you've looked at the the process and timeline on slide number 4 that we have. Any questions for Mr. Sanchez?
I have a question.
Yes,
So,
trustee Swaster.
Dr. Sanchez, right? Okay, Dr. Sanchez, you mentioned the 4 organizations, which is United Way, what was the other one?
Hispanic Chamber of Commerce.
Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, and then, is there 3? 3. Is it 3?
And then the Idaho Business for Education.
Okay, and do you have any plans of adding any additional organizations or businesses?
The short answer is yes, and that's consistent with our approach that we used in other school districts, is that as the the preparation phase really gains a lot of momentum because you want to move into planning, there's lots of sharing of information around individuals or organizations that wouldn't just be good fits, but best fits. And so that we find, just right as we're about to enter the planning phase, that there is just so many great names of individuals out there, organizations that could create or add value. So that would certainly be an enabler, if you will, a multiplier to this effort to have other organizations beyond what I just mentioned a few minutes ago.
Any follow-up question, trustee Swanson?
No, not at this time. Thank you.
Okay. Dr. Sanchez, I'd like to apologize for not using your title. I apologize for that. So let's see.
Well, thank you, Madam Chair. No need to apologize. Robert is fine. Dr. Sanchez is fine. I am comfortable with both.
Compadre?
I was going to say Bob.
And Bobby is fine as well.
Okay. All right, sounds good. All right, so trustees, are you at a point that you can make a motion to approve our strategic plan with the timeline that has been described?
Madam Chair, I'd like to make a motion that we approve the strategic plan with the indicated timeline and process.
Okay. Did I hear a second? Okay, thank you. We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion, trustees? Okay, I'd like to ask for a vote. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, any opposed, nay? All right, the vote is unanimous. Motion carries. All right, so Dr. Sanchez, we are looking forward to getting started with our strategic planning. And like I said, within a couple weeks, we will let you know if we can recruit another trustee to be on the team. Okay, and then just let us know, your conversations with Dr. French, if there's anything else you need from us.
Madam Chair, thank you. It's a privilege and honor to work with the Caldwell School District team and to posture these students for success.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Sanchez.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone.
Okay. All righty, so now we will move on to our next agenda item. We have athletics update. Dr. French.
Thank you, Madam Chair and trustees. So to remind, I'll just go back into the plan. The trustees gave me the authority to act on whether we would have fans or not.
Mm-hmm.
And you may have known over the holidays that there was quite a, I don't know what you call it, but there were some schools in the East who were not happy with the governor's order that we could not have more than 10 people, basically. So SIC had no fans at games. There were some schools who were concerned by this, and so it went back to the governor's office, and he agreed to allow fans and gave some very strict stipulations on if you had fans. In meeting with the other schools in the SIC, we agreed that we would allow home team fans only. The logistics of allowing visitors, having an indoor for visitors and outdoor for visitors and indoor for our home. Like, you know what? First off, we had no fans. And so to open it up to our home fans was more logistically possible. Those home fans would be only parents of the student athletes that are rostered. So the athletes who are on the roster and the cheerleaders would be allowed, they'd be given 2 tickets so that they can attend. Caldwell High School has come up with a safety plan that they will be following. I did put that into board docs. It was given to me today that they wanted the board to know that they will be following a safety plan that after a game, so after the freshman game is played, the gym will be cleared and it will be cleaned. And no one will be allowed in until 15 minutes before the next start of the next game. So parents can come to the freshman game, watch their student, and then they'll have to leave. We will allow the freshman team to stay as long as they're seated up behind their team, our team, and same with the visitors. Same with JV. They will be allowed to come in 15 minutes before the start, and then the game's over, we'll ask the parents to leave so we can clean. And that would be upholding the governor's plan. And part of that, upholding that plan, Chairman Pacina and I will have to assign an assurance page that says we'll uphold that plan. And the Caldwell High School will inform parents that if they cannot, they are expected to maintain their mask the entire time of the game. That's what we ask. And if they cannot do that, then they will not be invited back to another game. This is something that we expect that people will uphold. So I wanted to update you on that. I agree with the SIC that we would allow for home fans as long as it's our rostered athlete and the cheerleaders. And then following that, cleaning and who can be in the gym.
Because we are having access, we're letting, like parents have access through live streaming for any away games, correct?
Yeah, Madam Chair, trustees, we have Pixelot, which is a streaming system for, you can watch the wrestling, you can watch basketball, and it's through the National Federation of High School Sports, I believe it. I'm trying to think, NFHSA, whatever.
FHS,
Yeah, thank you. And it's like $10 a month to watch games. You can watch anybody's game. So it's a pretty good deal for grandma and grandpa who do not want to travel over. You know, they can watch the game. And it's actually pretty good, I don't want to say quality, yes, state quality. And you can see, I've watched a couple games. John did want me to let you know that we have not had any COVID incidents with our wrestling group. I think John might be on tonight. We did have the Raleigh tournament, and we actually had 2 of our athletes who took first. He was sharing with me today. The only COVID issue we've had are with 2 athletes in basketball, but they've been pretty quick about quarantining and making sure people were safe. So I'm excited about that. I appreciate the coaches working on that, and then John's work of holding everybody accountable to making sure we're safe.
Yes, thank
Do
you,
do you have any questions for me on that athletic update? I didn't want you to wonder why there are parents coming to a game.
I wanted to clarify something. So before, the 2 tickets kind of could have been handed out to anybody, right? They didn't have to be a relative of the player. So is that kind of changed now that it has to be an actual relative of the player?
Before.
So before they,
Yes,
if they didn't have a parent that wanted to go, then they could give it to their friends, and their friends could come. So was that the way it was worded, or?
This is, let me show this. So, under the governor's order, spectators have to stay 15, they have to remain 12 feet apart. So that's why there is a limited number of guests. And then John has in here, 2 spectators will be admitted with paid entrance to the gymnasium for each home rostered athlete and cheerleader. Only names on the spectator pass list will be admitted to the games. So I will, and John, if John's here, I can have him jump in. I'm an athlete. I let my coach know that my uncle Manny's going to be there. My aunt Keely's going to be there. It has to be noticed so that when they show up to come, it's on that list.
It can be anybody, it's our
Okay.
But it has to be announced. And if Anita or John want to add to that, I'd appreciate it. But hopefully that helps.
Yeah, just the way you worded it earlier, that sounded.
I did say
Different, so-
parents.
Mhm.
To answer your question, no, they don't have to be related.
Okay,
Okay,
yeah, I just wanted to see if that was a new caveat that we were throwing in there, so.
okay.
If they aren't related, they have to be the 12 feet apart.
Okay.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's all I have, Madam Chair.
Okay, and that was information only, correct? Correct. Okay, thank you. Thank you for being on that board with the SIC superintendents where you all agreed that that's what we're gonna do.
Those are some interesting conversations. And I appreciate that. I will say
Yes.
that it's good to work in this SIC conference.
Mhm.
So,
Yes, trustee Swasky.
so if they're not related, not in the same household, so they can be uncle and aunt and still sit together, right?
Mhm. Yeah, not from the same household, correct, John?
That could be anybody.
Correct. If they're not from the same household, they'll be separated when they come.
So like if Manny and his wife Liz go, they can sit together. But if it's Manny and then another uncle, they can't sit together if they're not living in the same
Same
house. Okay, gotcha.
Which will be interesting.
Mhm.
Let's hope the kids give those tickets to the same house.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, okay. Sounds good. Thank you for the, yeah, we'll be able to share snacks. That's too bad. Oh, well. Okay, oh, we don't have snacks.
Meet each other.
We don't have snacks. Never mind. Never mind. Let me not put that out there. Okay. All right, thank you, Dr. French. Yes.
Dr. French, so do we need to update our plan at all to accommodate for the change in SIC, or what's your thought on that?
Madam Chair and Vice Chair Manny, so in our plan, it says that you'll give the superintendent can decide on the fans, and we'll use this kind of information. We'll use information from SIC, what we receive. So it's not that specific of, does that make sense?
Yeah.
Mhm.
So it's broad enough for us to not necessarily have to change the plan.
Would I read? Which one? Oh, okay, so, yes, just for reference, I would like to remind our patrons that in September, the board gave Superintendent French authority to make decisions to allow additional fans or to restrict the number of fans if COVID cases rise within the school community or if game management becomes an issue. So, and that's kind of, I think, where we're at this time, that instead of waiting for a board meeting for Dr. French to change anything, that it could be changed as needed. Okay. All right. So thank you, Dr. French. Okay, so now we have the State Board of Education waives college entrance exam graduation requirements. So this is gonna change up a little bit, change up our policies from what I understand right on in the board docs. So we have Anita Wilson and Jody Mills. So if you would like to, I don't know who wants to go first. Did they fall asleep?
Not at all.
No. Yay. There she is. Okay.
Well, Madam Chair, trustees, part of the requirements of graduation is the taking the SAT in April. And last year, the state board waived that. And this year, they're waiving the requirements of a college entrance exam be taken or be required to be taken at this time. That's not to say that kids still do not have to take a college entrance exam, but we're not going to require the SAT. And within our policy, I believe it says that.
Okay.
Madam Chair and trustees, so Ms. Wilson brought it to my attention. She was concerned that, we had talked about waiving the SAT variation, that state requirement. And she said, I believe that's in our board policy, which is the news policy that we have before you tonight at a second reading.
Mm-hmm.
So, it was, thank you, Anita, for bringing that to my attention. We just want to make sure that you're aware that we need the board to,
we need to change the policy
or just to suspend that portion.
Okay.
Mhm.
So what I understand is that board policy.
It's in, pardon me, Madam Chair and trustees, it's in board policy and the procedure for 2700. And it's section 4, college entrance exam. We would just need to waive section 4 for this year in order to graduate, or not waive, I'm sorry.
Suspend.
Suspend.
Okay,
Section 4.
okay, so that is policy manual, that's in the 2000 series, it would be code 2700P. So, yeah, it talks about the college entrance exam. So, and then if we refer to our board policy regarding what, how we set policy on it, it just says that in our policy code 1300 in section 4.1, suspension of policies under circumstances which require a waiver of policy. Policy may be suspended by a majority vote of the members present. In order to suspend a policy, all trustees must have received written notice of the meeting, which included a proposal to suspend the policies with an explanation of the purpose of such proposed suspension. If such a proposal is not made in writing in advance of the meeting, the policies may only be suspended by unanimous vote of all trustees present. So that's what we are doing at this time. Okay, so we are going to suspend, our goal is by decision, by vote tonight, is to suspend the section 4 of the college entrance exam of the policy code 2700P. So do you guys understand that? Do you have any questions? And that's just to go with the guidelines that we have with what the state has determined for this year.
Madam Chair, Dr. French, how long will that suspension take place through the school year?
Madam Chair, Vice Chair, yes, it's just, right now, it's been just waived for this school year.
Okay.
At the state board, if something should happen next year, we would probably come back. Right now, it's just for this school year.
Okay. So I would like at this moment to ask for a motion to be able to suspend section 4 on policy 2700P in our policy manual. And this is regarding the college entrance exam, college entrance examination.
Do we have to suspend the policy 2700 as well?
I think the policy 2700 is just talking about high school graduation requirements. And I don't think anywhere on there, I'm reading it.
Madam Chair and trustees, so there's still things that we will need that they'll have to do. Right? Earn so many credits. So that's in that policy. They have to earn so many credits in math. So because we wouldn't want to suspend it all.
Oh, gotcha. So just section 4 of
2700P, is that correct? Okay. Yeah, because I think 2700P is more detailed.
Gotcha.
So that's the part we want to suspend on 2700P.
Madam Chair, I'd like to make a motion to suspend policy 2700P, section 4 for 2020-2021 school year.
Okay, thank you. I have a motion. I'd like to ask for a second.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
Madam Chair, I have a question. So I noticed in section 7, it talks about the civics test or alternate path. Is that still in force, Dr. French, or Ms. Mills?
Yeah, Trustee Manning, Madam Chair, that has not been waived at this point, and we don't anticipate that being waived. It was also in place last year. And Cheryl Adams with Caldwell High School does an amazing job making sure that all of those seniors pass that civics test.
I know that earlier in the year, did we talk about ISATs? That last year, ISAT that was waived
It was last year. It has not been waived.
this year.
Yeah,
Okay.
currently the only thing that's been waived is the requirement of taking the SAT as college entrance.
Okay.
Is there any indication from the state board or the State Department that they're going to waive any other tests?
There is not at this time.
follow-up question, Vice Chair? We're good? Okay. Any other discussion, trustees? All right, hearing none, I'd like to ask for a vote. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Okay, any opposed, nay? Okay, it passes unanimously with the ayes. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Mills, for staying up late for us. Okay,
Thank you, Nita.
yes, I know she's up there too. Okay,
Hollywood Squares
let's
up there.
see. So next on our agenda is the YMCA MOU action, or MOU, yeah. So Dr. French?
Yeah, Madam Chair and trustees, this is an agreement with us, with our district and the YMCA to provide preschool opportunities for students within our school buildings. We just want to make sure there's no conflict of interest. That is why it was placed on this part of the agenda, because we didn't want anyone to think. We know that Trustee Swastigi works for the YMCA, and so we thought, well, it would be best if we had it here, that you saw that the MOU, it's for preschool, an agreement to support preschool in our collaborative. And that would be, the reason it is in the action, or excuse me, the regular agenda.
Okay, thank you. And this is a standing agreement. I mean, it's just a renewal of an agreement.
It is, Madam Chair and trustees, there was an update on a date of when YMCA could go out and recruit preschool children from other school districts if they can't get enough students from Caldwell to take the spots they have. And we agreed to November 1st. So that was a change.
Okay,
But otherwise, yes, it's a standing agreement.
okay. So I would like to ask for a motion to accept the YMCA MOU agreement.
Madam Chair, I move to accept the YMCA MOU agreement.
Thank you. And then I'd like to ask for a second.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussions, trustees? Okay, hearing none, let's take a vote. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Okay, any opposed, nay? And then any recused votes?
Yeah, it's fine.
Abstentions.
I was, just
Any
would
abstentions, okay.
you just state your name and recuse? I, Claudia, recuse my vote. Perception of bias. Oh, okay, yeah. Perception of bias.
Okay, thank you. All right, and it looks like the motion.
Not on the script, okay?
The motion
I'm
carries.
sorry.
That's right, you'll learn.
The mother's got it.
Watch.
Just watch.
Watching.
Take notes.
Okay, so on to the next action.
Madam Chair, at this time, I wish to recuse myself under suspicion of bias.
Okay, thank you.
Boy.
We'll wait for,
You can stay.
You
Yeah.
can, you just can't vote.
okay, all right.
We're
So
not
we,
discussing anything.
Oh.
okay.
Unless they have questions.
Mhm. Okay.
Since you was up.
So, all right, can I get a motion to accept the personnel report?
Chair, I'd like to make a motion to accept the personnel report.
Okay, I'd like to ask for a second.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? And if there is, we'll have to send Trustee Butler outside. Okay, hearing none, I'd like to ask for a vote. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed, nay? Okay, and then any abstain? Or what do we call it?
Recuse.
The recused, any recusing of vote?
Used. I, Trustee Butler, wish to recuse my vote. Recuse myself under suspicion of bias.
Perception.
Perception of bias.
We don't think we're
Okay.
suspicious.
Be suspicious.
We did discuss, like, do you need to, did Trustee Swastiki need to leave? Did Trustee Butler need to leave? I mean, Keely and I were visiting about that. If there's a discussion,
Mhm.
Then
then, but you're not voting, you've recused yourself from the vote.
Okay.
It's been stated. If we're concerned, we'll double check,
Mhm.
but we felt that,
yes.
Okay.
and I'm sure somebody will call us out if we're wrong, but we'll fix
Okay, and then now we will, can we jump to the consent agenda item that we had skipped? Ms. Keely?
Yes.
Okay, all
Let's
right.
do it.
So that was, item D, I'm sorry, item B, B as in boy, from the consent agenda, and that's a surplus. Did you really want that vacuum that was not working?
You can take it.
Oh, no, but I was thinking, look at all those monitors on that list, and I wasn't sure what sort of shape they were in. And I know that in recent months, that a lot of teachers are moving towards 2 monitors if they can. Some find it helpful teaching online or hybrid because they can have different screens open. They can have their Google Meet class open on one monitor, and they can have their various scripts or information or websites open on another monitor. And so I'm just throwing this out there as an idea. I know that we got some emails, an email a few months ago from a nonprofit, something like Monitors for Teachers or something like that, that one of the staff had sent out. And so I was reflecting on that. I realized you'd have to have the cables that connect the monitors, but I'm wondering, with teachers doing hybrid, with them teaching remotely as well, if there are teachers that would need 2 monitors. And then the second question is if the surplus monitors we have, if they would in any way fit that need.
Okay, well, you are in luck, Vice Chair Manning. Because tonight we have a special guest, Mr. Caleb Shore.
I had a
So
feeling
it's
he might be
here.
It's the only
Mr.
night he's
Shore.
ever here.
Chair Pacina, Vice Chair Manning. Those monitors that we are surplusing are 17 inches and below. They are mostly in working condition, but they are smaller than what we want to deploy out of our classrooms. All of our teachers already have a monitor in place. As we install, every teacher has a laptop that we've already given out to every classroom teacher. We've left monitors in place, so essentially every teacher does have a dual monitor, in some cases 3 monitors, including the projector. So I would not like to put 17 inches out, as most of our monitors are at least 19 or above in all of our classrooms. So that's why we're getting rid of these smaller monitors.
Just a question. Thank you.
Okay.
Thanks for being here tonight, too.
Thanks for coming in.
Yeah.
Okay. All righty, so future agenda, we have to vote on the, no? Yes, we
Yes,
do,
we do.
on the surplus. So I'd like to ask for a motion to accept the item agenda for the surplus.
Madam Chair, I move that we accept item B, surplus.
Okay, I have a motion, I'd like to ask for a second. Okay, we have a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, let's go for a vote. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? Okay, and motion carries, unanimous decision. So, okay.
Keely's excited to get rid of that vacuum. It's not working.
I wanted to look what shape it was in because my kids need vacuums. Okay.
You're welcome to take it. It does not work.
Okay, so now future agenda items. We have on here that Principal Shay Swan has invited the trustees to visit Syringa Middle School to view improvements made to their school using plant facility funds. So I would like to plan to see if maybe we could hold our March work session at Syringa Middle School. So how does that sound? I don't know, I don't think it's information only, but I don't, because it's a future agenda item. But, right, Keely? Is
Yeah,
that
yep,
where
and
we're
when we
going?
can post that ahead of time.
Yeah, so if that's good for you guys, I think it would be nice to kind of piggyback on some of what we've been using our plant facilities monies for. And then the second field trip would also be good to be able to visit Sacagawea to see their improvements under our facility plant money. So, we can talk about that and discuss when we'd like to do that, if we do it in a board session. You know, I'm sure Paul could, you know, I don't know, bring cookies or something.
Or you could visit to see the
Or we could,
improvements in person.
or maybe he could just extend an invitation like he did last year. And we could go out there and visit whenever, you know, in accordance to our schedule to see what fits us, so.
And Madam Chair, Trustees, Mr. Swan had wanted to invite you out, and he had the idea of, you know, having you come see the changes, but can you all come at the same time? Those work sessions are a time that you all come together. It's in your schedule, and he, you know, that was a consideration. It's like, well, he wants to have you come see the changes, and he would love to have students take you on a tour. Have a couple students come and take you on a tour of the building, show you what's been, you know, the updates that have been made, and then have him just take a moment to share out what's happening at Syringa. We used to do that in our monthly meeting. The school would have a chance to share out what's happening. It would be nice for you to see how that plant facility money's been spent. Some things you won't see, you will not see underneath the building when the chain of all the pipes that have been changed and the asbestos removal underneath there.
I hear will be warm.
You will, there's a great possibility you will be warm. And I don't know if you'll see the new boiler. I'm still wondering how they got the old one out and the new one in, so.
So would this have, Dr. French, would this have to be during school hours? Or
No, it would
just
be a
have-
work session.
Oh, okay.
Like a regular work session. It just wouldn't be here. It would
Yeah.
be held at Syringa. And Keely just needs to give the public enough notice to know that it's there.
Okay.
I guess that was, Madam Chair, that was my question about open meeting law then. If we're having an official meeting off site, then do we have to, and we're touring the school, do we have to have somebody following us or with a camera?
So
Is
are you
everything-
gonna put roller skates on the camera? I'm sure you
Little,
can.
little leash that we can carry around.
Yeah. Videographer?
GoPro.
Yeah,
I don't know how
GoPro.
that's, by doing it as an official meeting, I don't know how that would affect that.
It's a work session. I'll look into it. But
Yeah.
it could be done. I mean, I've seen people
I
carrying
won't
their
do
cell
it, I
phones
just-
around, chasing down
Right.
events.
I've been to a lot of weddings where the videographer doesn't let me dance because he's in my way, so.
Yeah, they're always.
But it would be a great opportunity to showcase the good work that's
Yes, it
happening,
would.
not only at the school,
But also let our patrons know what's been going on. You
Can
know,
we
it's a
do-
good Video.
I'm sorry, Madam Chair, can we, and Dr. French, can we do both that same night?
I guess it.
As far as Sacagawea and.
You know what, I'm wondering if you wouldn't mind, maybe we could visit with Paul and schedule something in April at Sacagawea.
Oh, yeah.
You know, have a meeting on
Yeah.
site at Sacagawea.
Yeah, okay.
Caleb following us around, the changes there.
Like paparazzi.
Good thing he's got a mask on.
But it would also give them a chance to share with you what's happening at their school.
Okay.
You know, and I appreciate Mr. Swan bringing that out of like, can we do that? And for a regular board meeting, you know, we do say it's at this location. The work sessions can be, you know, that's a.
Subject to change.
It could be
Yeah.
subject.
Work sessions, we're gonna do a camping trip or something like that. I mean,
know,
we're not,
for-
I mean,
But they would
we
still-
could do that, right? Do we have to have it videotaped?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You do?
Darn,
They
I
still
guess
have
the
to be open
routing.
to the public, so
Oh,
we
okay.
still have to allow the public to observe
Yeah.
in some manner.
Oh, okay.
Okay. All right,
Sounds
sounds
good.
good.
Are you-
Sounds like a plan.
Okay, good.
Let's plan for that, okay.
Shake.
Alrighty, so now we are at policy development adoption. Okay, Dr. French.
Thank you, Madam Chair and trustees. You can see the proposed policies that committee has not been able to meet. And so there are no policies for first reading. And hopefully we can get back together this month after the holidays. There's only the second and final reading. These are the policies that we were just discussing. So policy 2700, high school graduation requirements. The policy 2700P, the procedures for those high school graduation requirements. And then, pardon me, policy 3200, student rights and responsibilities.
Okay. Alrighty, so at this time, I'd like to ask for a motion to accept and approve the second and final reading of those policies.
Madam Chair, I did have a question on one of the policies.
Yes.
In policy 2700P, that we were actually looking at graduation, it talks about the middle schools. And so as I was reviewing this, something jumped out at me, mostly because my kids are in middle school now. But it says in section 3.1, it says if a middle school student completes any required high school course with a grade of C or higher before entering the 9th grade. Currently, I believe both middle schools are on a standards-based grading. And so I was curious how that correlates with this C or higher. So Dr. French, if you wouldn't mind.
Sure, Madam Chair and Trustee Butler and trustees. So if we have a middle school student who is taking a high school course that meets that same standards that are required by high school, which could be a math class, I'll use that as an example, and that course is taught by a teacher certified to teach that high school course, then the student meets that high school content area and they will be given, they will earn a grade of a C or higher. It is not based on the standards-based grade. It will be based on the high school grading scale. I don't know if I just made sense on that, but if you are a middle school student taking a high school course, you will earn a letter grade as per the high school grading scale. So the standards-based grading is what we're using for middle school classes, middle school coursework. So they would, so it's a middle school level coursework, their grade is based on the standards-based grading procedure, and rubric. But if it's a high school course, it will be graded based on their efforts at work will be graded based on the high school grading scale. Is that?
So I guess my question then is anybody that would be in this category for this class, it would be a specially designated class saying that it was a high school credit course.
That is correct.
Okay, so they would know going in, it's not just that any student might have that class and then just either not know about it or something.
Yeah.
That would qualify, get to high school and realize, hey, I had this in middle school. So they would know going into that course in middle school.
They would, and Madam Chair and Trustee Butler and Trustee. So Natha is a great example of that. So she was in middle school taking high school classes in Advanced Opportunity Summer School. And in order for her to do that, she needed to be aware that she was earning high school credit. And if you're in a class to earn high school credit, which you would be, that would be made known to you before you took the class. And especially if it's taught during the middle level of the school year, a student would know.
Okay.
Just
And
kind of
parents
like,
should know.
in my mind, I'm just trying to dumb it down a little bit for me to understand, but it's kind of like if I was a 6th grader and I think I can do calculus. So that's like a huge jump for a 6th grader. And so even though you're really, really smart and don't be so disappointed if you get a D-, because that's what you got as a high school class of calculus, even though you're a genius in the 6th grade.
Right.
Is
And
that
Madam Chair,
the way?
we do have in here, the students shall be given the grade for their completion, and they do have, it's going to be on the high school transcript. However, the student's parent or guardian shall be notified in advance when the credits are going to transcribe. The student's parent or guardian may elect to not have the credits and grades transferred to the student's high school transcript.
Oh, okay.
So if they were the 6th grader or 7th
And they're
grader,
like,
and
we don't want that.
we don't want that,
Okay.
they would be notified and they just work with their counseling.
Okay.
counselor administrator. But that's part of our,
Gotcha.
the policy.
Okay. Any follow-up question for that? for
That
Dr.
answers
Green?
that. Yeah.
Okay. All right, so then,
Thank you, Dr. French.
Really quick, Madam Chair. Is that the same for dual credit?
Oh, okay, thank you, Madam Chair and Trustee Fostegui and trustees. So in dual credit, those classes are offered at the high school level. And students are aware that they are, well, when they sign up for the dual credit class, they're aware that they're in that class. I would have to They are working, dual credit, they are working towards the dual credit for the college level, yes. Now, the AP classes, they may be able to opt out of taking the test,
Mhm.
which, like, why do that? Don't opt out. But some do, they don't necessarily take the test. But the dual credit, unless they have signed up, and I would hope, is Anita on? Well, Jody's here. I'm like, if they've signed up to not take the dual credit part, Jody, they can still be in the class.
Correct. And so a student, Madam Chair Trustees, a student, when they sign up for a concurrent or a dual credit, they're taking credit with Caldwell High School as well as the university that has sponsored that class. And so out of that class, the student will get both a high school credit and a grade and a college credit and a grade. And if they withdraw from the college credit due to whatever situation, that would go on their college transcript as a withdraw or an incomplete. It has nothing to do with what grade they receive then at the high school. So they could receive an A out of the high school, and then because they withdrew from college credit, they would either get an I or a W on their college transcript.
Thank you. Thank you. Any follow-up questions? Trustee Swanson? Okay. But students, Chairman Casino and trustees, students are aware that they're in those classes. Or they should be.
And they're aware of their options.
Right.
Yes, okay.
So I'm thinking if they're enrolled and it's too hard for them and they're failing but they're already connected to the college, that it would be the same, it would be like, I don't want it in my college transcript.
So they can withdraw
Yeah,
and still earn the class credit.
okay.
High school credit towards graduation.
All right, so I think I was asking for a motion to approve.
Madam Chair, I'd like to accept and approve second and final readings of 2700, 2700P, and 3200.
Okay, I have a motion. I'd like to ask for a second. Okay, I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Okay, hearing none, I'd like to ask for a vote. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Okay, any opposed, nay? Okay, the ayes have it, motion moves. All right, and so now, information only. January 18, 2021 is Idaho Human Rights Day, Martin Luther King Day, and so there is no school. So if you can, go out there and do some community service or be a beacon of light out there in your community. For those that don't have to go. And on February 15th, 2021, we have Day on the Hill. It'll be a virtual event this year, and it'll be 1 day versus 2, and it'll be on the Monday. So hope to see everyone there, trustees. I don't know, we could talk about if maybe we could come here and do the virtual event. Is that an option? Okay, maybe meet, because we like to be together.
There will be food if you do.
And yeah, it's we'll make it a good time.
Madam Chair wants her eggs.
What's that?
You want eggs?
Oh,
Or
yes,
tamales.
please. Tamales, yeah, or eggs. Okay. All right, folks. So we are at the end of our meeting. Thank you, everybody, for showing up. And at this point, I'd like to ask for a motion to adjourn.
Madam Chair, motion to adjourn?
Okay, I have a motion. I'd like to ask for a second.
Second.
Okay, any further discussion? Okay, let's do a vote. All those who want to stay? No. All those who want to adjourn, please say aye.
Aye.
Okay, any opposed, nay? All right, we are adjourned. Thank you all.